Alrighty guys, Invader1 here again, and I'm back, this time with Hammer Time. We got the Krogan Warlord Sentinel. I know you guys have been playing with him, you know you guys like him. Some of you guys hate the crap out of him, and I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not a good thing, because this guy is pretty badass. Actually, he's one of my favorites besides the Infiltrator out of the DLC that came out. Now, I'm going to go through the build with you guys real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more in the gameplay as to why I like him and a few things that you guys can do to not get insta-killed, and we'll get into that. Let's talk about the build real quick. Tech armor. Rank 4, you want to go for durability. Rank 5, I recommend melee damage instead of power damage, even though the power damage would affect the power effect of the kind of hammer that you want to choose. I still go for melee damage regardless. Like that, your melee damage is continuously strong. So guys, just go for melee damage. It's the way to roll. Rank 6, I don't go for power recharge. Not even necessary. This power recharge is fine. I go for durability, make him a little tankier. Now, between the biotic hammer and electrical hammer, here in this video gameplay, I am showing you guys the electrical hammer, and I have my buddy using the biotic hammer. And you see the differences. Although the electrical hammer is good, I recommend more the biotic hammer, and I'll show you why. On the biotic hammer, I like to go for damage and force on rank 4 to make it stronger. Now, this is why I actually like the biotic hammer a little bit more than the electrical hammers. Right here, armor damage. Increased damage done to armor by 50%, especially when you are on platinum. And you'll see this here, how my buddy sometimes is able to take down like 3 or 4 bars of armor on a Banshee, as opposed to my hammer where I could do it but not as much. Right here, armor damage, Banshees, brutes, primes, armor damage, armor damage, armor damage. This is the way you want to go, guys. Now, I always go for number of charges, guys. Even though the power hammer is good and passes through armor and shields and barriers and knock down humanoid targets, this is very, very good, guys. Now this is up to you guys how you guys want to go for it. I go for number of charges, so like that I at least have 4 instead of 2. I like it that way because by the time it's recharging, because I use heavy weapons on this guy, I at least have 4 shots with the biotic hammer. If you guys are going to use electrical hammer, which is good, it is a good hammer. I'm just saying that there's certain options that make the other hammer a little better. If you are going to go for it, I would definitely recommend shields and barrier on rank 4. Rank 5, I go for damage, fire damage, so you could do damage over time. That's why I like it. The chill damage is pretty good, but I like the damage over time or fire damage. That's pretty much why I go for the electrical hammer. Rank 6 radius of combo is decent, and you can increase the damage of tech combo detonations. This will be the preferred method, the way to go. But again, I like more charges. I like to have at least 4 charges on the hammer that I can use right away. Krogan Warlord. All right, I'm going for damage and capacity, so like that to make sure that the power damage from the hammers are actually increased here, and I also want weight capacity, so his power recharge is decent again, because I do use heavy weapons on this guy. I don't go for headshots. Again, I go for power damage on rank 5, and on rank 6 go for weapon damage, so at least your weapon, you got a good percentage. If you look here, look, weapon damage bonus 17.5%, which is great. So now let's go into Warlord Rage. The way you guys want to do this is you're going to want to go for durability in rank 4. Rank 5, go for martial artist, so your melee damage is really, really good. And rank 6, go for pure rage. I mean, you might think, oh, fitness expert is nice, it's good, 60% on rage mode, but this is the way to go. Pure rage. Immediately, 1 kill on a husk or an abomination, you're going to pure rage and you are regenerating. Alright guys, let's go into the gameplay. I want to talk a lot more about how to make this guy work. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about in regards to the hammers are, well, what do they do? Pretty much, what do these hammers do? These 2 different hammer types. Well, I want to explain a little bit about the biotic hammer. Some of you guys may be like, well, I know the biotic hammer you just said, Invader. It really helps with armor damage, and it's really awesome against armor damage. That's great. That's all good. Now, the biotic hammer can also detonate biotic explosions. So let's say you're in a team full of biotics, somebody's casting Re, or somebody has Annihilation Field. You can actually use the hammer for those enemies that are targeted, those enemies that are set up that way already, that have Reeve cast on them, that have Warp cast on them, that you can use a biotic hammer to detonate a biotic explosion on them, doing massive amounts of damage, okay? That is one. Number 2, guys, these hammers, regardless of whether it's the biotic hammer or the electric hammer, does massive damage against barriers Okay, barriers and shields. Now the electrical hammer has a better level up, especially on rank 4 against shields and barriers, and that's what I'm using here. But but both hammers do work against barriers. So for example, you see me going up to a Banshee, I get her on the elevation and I'm smacking the crap out of her with the hammer to make sure that I'm dropping down her barriers so quickly, and it works really well. So that's another thing that the hammers do, regardless of whether you have the electric hammer or the biotic hammer. Now the electric hammer works a little better against shields and barriers. That is totally fine. You know, that's why you see my hammer will do better against Banshees, barriers, and shields, and the same thing with Phantoms. But the biotic hammer still does a pretty good job against barriers and shields, guys. So that's another thing that it does. Okay, now what is the other thing that the hammers do? They can detonate tech explosions, fire explosions. For example, if you're using incendiary rounds, which is what I prefer to use with this guy, I use incendiary ammo so that when I am priming targets with incendiary ammo, they're burning, they're screaming, they're yelling, they're like, oh my god, I got flame all over me. Then I can use my hammer, whether it's biotic or the electrical one, to detonate them and create a fire explosion. You could get kills like that. Matter of fact, you'll see that here. Alright, so that's one other thing. Now another thing that the hammer does, guys, well, forget about not just the hammer, this guy, his melees, is that his heavy melee, you can apply whichever kind of hammer you have set up, whether it's electrical hammer or the biotic hammer. You set up that power so you have, you know, pretty much your hammer primed with this capability, and then you use it. Your heavy melee is really powerful. You hold it down and that's great, but guys, also his regular melee, if you tap it a few times, you'll do a headbutt, then he'll swipe his hammer down in like a diagonal fashion, and then his last hit does an amazing amount of damage, guys. And I don't even have the stats on that. That's how ridiculous it is. Okay, now I do see that on the hammers, if I'm looking at them, they do have a damage bonus of about 1,000. The force bonus is about 1,137 on each, so it's still very powerful. Matter of fact, I'm able to take down Phantoms this way. So, and I will talk about how to work with Phantoms with this guy, because you guys, you know, I just see a lot of comments of people hating on this Krogan because he can still get insta killed, and due to the fact that he cannot take cover, he cannot go up, you know, he cannot go over cover either. A lot of people are finding that a bit of a problem, but he does have regeneration. What is regeneration, guys? He can regenerate, his health goes back up, kind of like the Vorcha. But this is constantly happening, which is a great thing. And you know, it's something that was so necessary, especially in the Krogans, because Krogans do regenerate. That's the way it is in the Mass Effect universe. They regenerate. They're so tough because of that. Here we go, guys. Look at that regular melee. Just this amazing amount of damage. Anyways, we're gonna get into that. So his regular melee, you tap a few times and you're gonna get a headbutt, a diagonal swipe with the hammer, and then a final bash to the face, which will destroy the enemy, which is absolutely amazing. Now this is on platinum, guys, so the amount of damage that I'm doing is a little less. That, you know, it take me a little bit more to kill an enemy, but I know that most of you guys are probably playing gold, probably playing silver. This build, even the hammer with this light melee this way, will destroy the enemies on gold, will totally destroy the enemies on silver and bronze. Okay, so do not even worry about it. You're seeing this, you're like, oh man, it's taking him, you know, 2 hits or whatever to go ahead and take this guy out with the hammer. No, that's because we're playing platinum, guys. I always like to play platinum to show you guys, you know, how we can manage multiple enemies, and you know how these builds work across harder difficulties, etc. So now that's another thing that the hammers do. Okay, and his light melee is really decent. Now, what weapons do I recommend with him, guys? Well, guess what? He is a Krogan, so I actually went with the Claymore, since Claymore, guess what, is a Krogan weapon. So I'd still do like to use a heavy weapon like the Claymore with him, so he could do a lot of damage on brutes, on bigger targets, because he's not going to be able to go inside and hammer all the time. And matter of fact, the way I hammer, the way I use my hammer is on all the smaller enemies right away. I just hammer them. The Marauders, let's say the Collector Captains, the Collector Troopers, even the Geth. The Geth Troopers, the Geth Soldiers, what I do with them is I hammer them first, so that I could drain their shields, just drop their shields and stun them, and then I just shoot them right in the face. Or you could shoot them 2 times. Or you could hit them 2 times with the hammer. Hit them 2 times with the hammer, hit them 3 times with the hammer, they're dropped to the ground. You know, you have quite a bit of an area of effect with the hammer, and you're fine. Okay, but the way I work with this guy, oh wow, that was a beautiful one. Oh, you guys saw that. I know you guys saw that. So the way I like to work with the hammer, guys, is that I wait, you know, I hurt the enemies, the smaller enemies with the hammer, with my melees, and I'm really good with that. And then all of a sudden, if it's a bigger, you know, if it's a bigger enemy that I'm using my claymore, I am hitting them hard with my weapon, and I'm making sure that the last 3 bars, I just go right ahead in. I go right in for the kill and do a fire explosion, because guess what? My claymore, I'm using incendiary rounds, or if you're using cryo rounds and you use the electrical hammer, you will detonate a great tech explosion. So either way, you're doing well. And look at this, guys. We have 2 Krogan just going at it. We're just destroying them. All right. So the kind of weapons you want, I'm using the claymore, but I definitely recommend weapons like the Regal carbine. The Piranha works well. The Venom shotgun. Oh my God, I really love this. This shotgun is so good, and I have to do some video gameplay with it. It's just so good. So I definitely recommend it on the Krogan. The Crusader is good. The Disciple, I wouldn't recommend it, but you know, if you guys want to use it on lower difficulties, it's fine. Pretty much any other shotguns like Growl Spike Thrower, the AT Raider is excellent on them. The Wraith is good. The Geth Plasma is good. I don't know about the Katana, but you know, I'm pretty much just sticking around with the Claymore in this one because I'm pretty decent with the Claymore. You guys have seen some Claymore gameplay with me with this guy. Now, there are other weapons that you can use with this guy. You can use sniper rifles, yes. You can go right ahead and put a Widow. You can go right ahead and put a Valiant. You can go right ahead and put the... I wouldn't put the Javelin. It's just so freaking heavy. But you can try. The Indra's good. The Incisor is not that great, but if that's you want to roll that way, go right ahead. And that's about it. The other sniper rifles I do not recommend for this guy. SMGs are cool, but really, you know, you're gonna put an SMG on a Krogan. It's just I don't know. It's up to you guys. If you want to go with an SMG, I go with like maybe the Hurricane, you know, something like that, or the new one, which is the Blood Pack Punisher, which is pretty decent. Okay, so that's what I would go for. And pistols, if you actually have to go with a pistol, then go for the Talon, or go for the Arc Pistol, the Scorpion, the Paladin, not the Eagle, maybe the Carnifex. The Acolyte is always a good one, but whatever. That's, you know, that's neither here nor there. The Suppressor's decent, guys, but the Suppressor is just a totally different kind of gun. I will go for the Executioner pistol. It's the new one, all right? And it's definitely a Krogan pistol. Well, it's a... how can I say it? It's a mercenary pistol, let's put it that way. So it's really good. Alright, now, let's talk about assault rifles. You guys already know that you guys can use really good assault rifles, like the Striker's decent on silver and bronze, but on gold and platinum, you probably don't want to go with the Striker. Particle rifle's fine. Cerberus Harrier is great, obviously, as always. No problem there. The S7 Typhoon, I would not waste my time with it. You want something faster. The Geth Spitfire, you do not want that with this guy. The synthetic rifle, somewhat. But I will go more for like the Harrier or the particle rifle. But now, the assault rifle that I use, okay, with this combination of a shotgun and assault rifle, that's what I'm doing here. I'm using the Falcon, guys. And you guys have seen me use the Falcon before, and that's totally fine. I'm like, you know what, why does this guy use the Falcon here? What's going on here? Now, the reason I have the Falcon, because a guy like this, who can get insta-killed, and you know, he's kind of big and clunky, you're going to want something to stagger Phantoms. Now, why do you want that? Because if you stagger Phantoms with the Falcon, you could go right in for the heavy melee. You stagger them back with the Falcon the moment you see a Phantom, and then you can go right ahead and do your heavy melee. You could destroy them. I've actually killed Phantoms in through this gameplay just like that. And you will also see Fire Explosion. That killed Phantoms with Fire Explosion. Now, another fun thing here, guys, if you guys haven't noticed, we have 2 Geth Juggernauts and two Krogans here. Alright, so what we're doing, and this is a fun game that you might want to do, when wave 7 of like Reapers on Platinum come up, or any wave that has like Phantoms, then the Geth Juggernaut's job is to pick up the Phantoms for you, so that both you and your buddy are hammering down those Phantoms and destroying them. So that's also another thing that you guys can do for fun. Bring in a Geth Juggernaut, have him, his job is just to pick up Phantoms for the rest of the team, and you go right ahead and hammer the crap out of them. That's another way to do it. Now, I'm using the Falcon to make sure that I'm staggering enemies that can insta-kill me. That doesn't work against Banshees, but it does work against Phantoms. And I know that you guys are like, man, this guy gets insta-kill, so that's how I work it. I bring my Falcon, I'm staggering the crap out of Phantoms, and then I am destroying them with my hammer. And with the Banshees, I just either take them on an elevation, or I'm killing them from far and then finishing them off with my hammer. You know, and then, you know, then you're fine. You're good to go that way. So guys, that's definitely what I recommend with him. Now, what kind of gear bonuses do I recommend? I will definitely recommend the Berserker package, or any kind of gear bonus that gives you also a melee damage bonus. Now, the Berserker package I'm using this time because I have the shotgun, I have the claymore. I wanted shotgun plus 12% damage and melee damage plus 12% as well. But you can also use the other gear bonus, which is also a melee gear bonus, which is hydraulic joints, which it gives you melee damage an additional 20%, which is great, especially due to the fact that you're going to use this melee quite a bit. The other one is Juggernaut Shield, which you get shield strength and melee damage. You get 20% shield strength and 12% melee damage. The Martial Biotic Amp, if you're using the Krogan, if you're using the Biotic Hammer, I recommend the Martial Biotic Amp better, because number one, it gives you plus 12% biotic damage, and guess what, it's a biotic hammer. The other one is that it gives you plus 12% melee damage. So those are the gear bonuses that I recommend with this guy. Now, you are going to want to go with a power amplifier module on the armor bonus, because obviously he's got the biotic hammer and the electrical hammer. They act not just as a melee, but they also act as a power, especially if you have them activated. So if you have a power amplifier module, it's going to enhance that power really, really well. And for like a weapon bonus, I recommend using your strength enhancers. I'm using strength enhancer 3 here. Applies a level 3 melee damage boost, you know, to the character. So that's great. It does a really, really great freaking job. So that's the other thing that I recommend with this guy. So guys, I really do like this guy. I think he's really good, due to the fact that he's got regeneration. Yes, he can't take cover. Yes, he can't do a few things, but he's got regeneration. He's got tons of shields. Yes, he can get dropped. He can get insta-killed. But if you work it right, as you see here in this gameplay, you'll do totally fine. I mean, we're taking down Phantoms, we're taking down Banshees, we're doing it, and you can take this guy and have a lot of fun with him. And you know, a lot of you guys have said, "Oh man, he sucks, he's a piece of crap, he's no good." But you know, you just gotta play him right. At least that's the way I feel. Don't get me wrong. There are other characters that I'm going to talk about in this DLC. You know, for example, the engineer. I thought, you know, I was using him a bit, and I thought he was pretty decent. And then all of a sudden, I started doing a little bit more play testing with him, and I'm a little concerned with that guy. I'm going to bring out some gameplay for you guys for sure, but I'm a little concerned with that guy. I don't know. You know, he's very melee based, and his arrows are decent, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, and we're also going to talk about the Adept, because the Adept video is coming up next. I actually had a decent video, but something happened to my card, and then it just messed up on me. So, anyways, guys, as you see here, you just notice that some of the ways that I play, especially with Marauders, small enemies, I'm just using my Claymore. I'm applying the ammo effect and just destroying the enemies with my electrical hammer and messing them up. Now, the other thing, guys, is that in regards to a character like this, that you cannot take a hard cover, you have to use soft cover, you have to strafe in and out. You might also want to use, if you don't want to use a power amplifier module for your armor bonus, then go right ahead and use an adrenaline module. So like that, you can run a little faster, you can get away from enemies, and you know, you're great. So that's another thing that you can do, guys. So that's pretty much how I go with him. Now, I like this guy so much. I actually, he's not my favorite out of the DLC bunch. I gotta be honest with you. The Infiltrator so far is just, she is so freaking good. I mean, she's just so good, and it's so intelligent the way they set her up. I really would not want her to be nerfed. I know that you guys are like, whoa, wait, Invader, but you know, she's a little OP. You know, let me tell you something. Her being the way she is, strap a Claymore on her, strap the Venom shotgun on her, she's absolutely amazing. So I really don't want her to be touched. But this guy, I also like this guy as well. I mean, so much so that I was actually trying to work out a platinum solo with him for you guys, and I got up to wave 7 flawless. I mean, I'm talking about no death, and yeah, it was tough. I had to play him. I had to play him right. I had to do it. So I'm gonna see if I could try to do something else. I don't know if maybe I'll finish it with him or do another platinum solo, because I've been meaning to do a few more platinum solos just in the sense of time. I mean, you guys already know these videos. In my sense, I'm putting these videos out late because I'm usually on the first night of the DLC. I got videos going, so I'm trying my best to get these out. Oh god, you guys saw that? Look, the Falcon staggered the Phantom, stagger her. You want to drop her barriers down a little bit. That's the way I'm doing it. Look at this, guy. It's just staggering. Oh, poor Phantom. Oh, what are you doing? What's happening here? Oh, I just smashed you in your face. Yeah, guys. So you see, this is how I roll. This is how I roll with the Krogan, and he's just so good. I mean, he is so freaking good. But don't just my issue in the beginning with him was that I was thinking of making him power based. I was thinking, he's got the hammer, so I'm just gonna work him as a power. I'm just gonna be hammering all the things, and I said, that doesn't make any sense. He's a Krogan. He's gonna need a Krogan shotgun. I put the claymore on him. You're not comfortable with the claymore, that's fine. And hey, that's totally fine. But the other thing is, guys, that you can use heavy weapons on him and be totally okay. You can still do your heavy melee with him. You can do his regular melee, and you can still destroy with him, as you can see here. And in a situation where there are enemies that can oh, look at this, picked up the Phantom, and then we just destroyed her. That's a fun game, guys. That's a fun game. That's why I like these juggernauts. But anyways, if you're having issues with Phantoms that can just kill you, just use something like a Falcon on them so that you can go right ahead and stagger them. And then after you stagger them, just hammer time all over their face. Just do it. Look at this. We're having so much fun here. The other thing is, guys, I don't know if you've noticed in the gameplay, but my buddy, when he is like killing banshees with his hammer, he's actually able to take down 3 to 4 bars at some points off the banshees with his biotic hammer, as opposed to mine, where I'll take like 2 bars, or maybe 1.5 bars or something like that off the armor, because obviously the biotic hammer has these great benefits against armor. So I definitely recommend that above the electrical hammer, even though I like them both. But that's the one thing I do like about the biotic hammer, that you can detonate biotic explosions, but at the same time you can have a really good time with really good time destroying the armor off of banshees and bigger boss enemies. So that's all I gotta say about that, guys. I really enjoy this guy. I think this is a Krogan that was truly necessary. That it's about time that they put out a Krogan that has regeneration. That's something that we had not seen before. Only with the Vorchas, and the Vorchas were not the only characters that needed regeneration. The Krogan did. Krogan had regeneration in single player in the lore, so that needed to happen. Now, in regards to some of the other characters, guys, I was meaning to put out a video, and I said this before, for the Adept. The Adept has kind of surprised me a little bit, even though I kind of got him a little bit. I got how to play him. The Adept has some issues, and I think I'm gonna address those issues in the gameplay, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe BioWare might watch it and hopefully pay attention to that and maybe make some changes. He needs some upgrades. He definitely needs some help. He needs to be a little faster, because the other Adepts and the other he can't catch up. He can't keep up with a lot of the other characters that we already have in play. But he is very powerful as well, so he can do well, but he's a little tricky. He needs a little bit of, I say, a few little fixes, and he'll do great, absolutely great. Alright, now the other one is the Engineer. Like I was saying before, he seems like a great idea, but so far I'm having a little bit of an issue with him. I think I might do him last. Meaning I might put him out the video last, because I kind of want to play around with him a little bit and get the other videos out of the way. I think I want to just get him so like right that you guys are like, wow, that's amazing. I've never seen something like that. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to use him on platinum and have you guys say, holy crap, that is amazing. That's what I'm going for. So I think I'm going to play him a little bit and leave him for last. I know you guys wanted to see him soon, and I did some gameplay that was pretty decent, but after going through it, I was thinking, man, I could do this a little better. I could change this around a little better. So we'll see what happens, guys. So hey, this is the Krogan Warlord. I enjoy him a lot. I think he's great. I think you guys love him. I think you guys should really give him some love. Give him a big Krogan hug. You know, give him a big Krogan kiss. You know how it is. Hey, they're fighters, but they're lovers too. So hey, you know, I have to give them some love. Alright guys, so I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to work on the next video. I'm going to try to get the Adept next, and also get the Alliance Infiltrator unit. The Infiltrator unit is a little easier to spec out, although I have two different builds for her. One more is a survivability build, and the other one an overall build, a very powerful build that I'm pretty much just using now, and after that, hopefully I'll be able to get some platinum solos done for you guys and get some time for that as well, and also get the single player, guys. As you guys know, the new Citadel single player DLC is coming out. So anyways, we'll talk about that later. This is the Krogan Warlord Sentinel, guys. Invading one out, and on to the next video. And please comment, rate, and subscribe. It definitely helps me out. Thank you, guys.